So in my book, So You Live in a Simulation, I actually talked about that. Like you could go back in time, but you literally can't change anything. You can only observe. Like if you're sending your consciousness back through, let's say, using DNA, you can only observe what like your great grandparents experienced. You can't go back and kill Hitler if that didn't happen in your timeline. The moment you go in and you change anything, you either will cease to exist or you'll send yourself onto a parallel universe where that happened, right? Because it's not just one future. If you're going to build a time machine, you need to understand that it's not just one future. Okay. I don't want people out there sending people out into, time and now they're floating in the ether or somewhere because they didn't understand that it's not just one future. It's very important. Don't operate on the premise that it's just one future. Okay. I'm smiling for those of you who are listening. Right. The grandfather paradox and consistency constraints. One of the more famous issues with time travel to the past is grandfather paradox. If you traveled back in time and prevented your grandfather from meeting your grandmother, why would you fucking want to do that? If you want to commit, Harry Carey, then just I feel like it's easier ways. But anyway, whatever. You would never have been born and therefore couldn't have traveled back in time in the first place. And once again, my response to that is no. You cannot say that eternalism is a thing, right? And then also have a grandfather paradox because the moment you travel back in time and you try to do something, you just shift. You literally that choice. If you're going in with the intention, right? So we're going to bring in the double slit experiment. If you're going in with the intention, you want to experience a different reality, right? That desire is going to set you on a different path. That grandfather that you're killing, right, is not the same grandfather that birthed you. You are now in a different reality. You cannot travel back in time or forward time without accounting for the many worlds interpretation. Like you have to take into consideration the many worlds interpretation and the eternalism model. Like you have to move them together. These are predetermined realities. But if you go in, there is no paradox. So whoever designed our reality, they're not stupid. There is no paradox. You're just going to go to a parallel universe. And your grandfather that you killed is not going to be the same grandfather. You're in a parallel universe. You will continue to exist. It's just you're now in a different timeline. So various theories have been proposed to address this, including the idea of self-consistency, where any actions taken by a time traveler were always part of history, or the existence of multiple timelines. The moment you go in and you change something, now you're in a different reality. Like boom. Dark matter. They kind of explore that in the show and the book, right? Every time he changed something, a new version, a new variant of himself got created, which at the end of the show, all of these versions of him converged on the same timeline to find the same woman, but it was a myriad of him. There was just different versions of him. So there's no such thing as a grandfather paradox because one, who's going to do that? And two, you're just going to end up in a parallel universe. So there you go. Any changes create a new parallel timeline. Boom, bada boom, bada bing. This is great. This is fun stuff.